those guys, they love to get really drunk, and most of them, they're just crazy. The ones I knew. And this was again in 2002 to 2007. I was right there. I watched so much dirty stuff go on. So with that timeline, I don't know. I mean, I didn't like write down, oh, what project is that? What do you got? What was that? How many shipments? What train? It wasn't like that. You just hear bits and pieces and you can piece it together. And then having my boyfriend at the time, like I said, he used to do a lot of their security. They would get a hold of him, or people would get a hold of him. Someone would get a hold of him. And he would all of a sudden have to go to work. He made a lot of money, and it usually was like 10 days or less, and he didn't have to leave our marina. Ha! He had a sailboat. We lived right next door to each other. My sailboat was parked. His sailboat was right next to me. He taught me how to dive. He taught me so much crazy stuff because he thought. I mean, I was interested. I love personal survival. I want to know. I want to be the best at everything I do. So, like when I wanted to learn to dive, I wanted to learn how they learned how to dive. I wanted to know, like, show me how you'd sneak up on someone because I just wanted to know. I'm not just curious, and I think it's cool. But now, you know, the novelty wore off, and it's actually these are like a doctor uses a stethoscope to hear your heart. That's a tool. These people have tools too, and they are capable of hearing, seeing things from a very far distance. To where, I'm telling you, I tested that theory, and they've got equipment. Anyhow, behind me, this has changed a little bit of the demographic, but there is a black building up on the hill. My godfather used to own that. They just sold it. It's called the University Union Building, and it's a historical building. So, but anyway, he sold it, and now it's not dilapidating because he didn't take care of it. Right over here, you have City Hall. And now, ironically enough, my background before I was an advocate for children, I was an electrician. I do marine electrical, I do home electrical, and I can do low voltage, whatever. Anyone can do that. But anyway, I did the low voltage and the phone systems right there in the City Hall of Tacoma. Just ironically, I knew somebody who worked in there, and they needed someone, and I was cheap, so it worked out, and I did it after hours, whatever. And now we've got the McMenamins next to it. Now the McMenamins building's the old Elks building. Now I can tell you, between my godfather's building, and that was a closed down Elks, by the way, it wasn't functioning. That parking lot has, if it had ears and could play back, a lot of dirty shit goes down right up in here. A lot. I did. I'm talking about 2002. This is when I'm privy to it because I was right up. It was right there. So anyway, that's kind of for my location. Over there is Vashon Island. That way is Vashon Island. Federal Way is straight behind these buildings. Browns Point. The high school I went to is on the other side of this new museum they put in. But anyway, this, I was going to add too. The docks out here are free to dock at. They're public moorage, but you can't spend the night. But as you can see, though, it's very easy to pull up here just as like maybe some guys out on a yacht for a nice summer get-together, or maybe some guys going to go learn how to go sailing here in the Puget Sound, because especially on Wednesday nights, maritime races. Surprised we're not seeing more boats. I used to go into those. Oh boy. Oops. Sorry about that. Anyway, there's one of the Foss tugs coming in, and the Crowley boys are going to be bringing in this container ship down here that's going to go over to Tote. And then over here, the port workers, which I have not gotten a good shot of yet because I'm too far west still. I need to go, and I need to go south and north. Anyway, this area down here in downtown Tacoma is very yuppie now. It wasn't. It was very dilapidated. It was nothing really, but there was quite a few, this is where you would call the Skid Row. This is where there were quite a few prostitutions. Like homeless people they'd get killed up in here. I used to hear people get stabbed. It was horrible, man. You hear some bad things down here. And then it's also one of the most beautiful spots in the world. I just wish that that the bad part wasn't here. Now, admittingly, I'm a little nervous talking about this, for sure, filming it, especially through a Google company. But at this point, it is what it is. And I think the truth needs to be out there more so than me worrying about it. And I don't even really honestly give it a thought. I'm very aware of what and who and what the game is and who's in the game and how they're playing it and how we're just clueless. And I really try to ignore it. In fact, I moved away from here. I live off grid. Like totally. I do have a cell phone now and I've got this iPad thing, but other than that, I really just try to stay low-key. I don't start any problems, but what I heard Mr. Webb talking about was absolutely true, and it blew me away that somebody else knew this. This is why I'm even really saying this, because you're absolutely right when you're talking about Tacoma, Washington, and Fort Lewis and McCord. Oh, shit, here they come. God, man. Oh, good, he kept going. Man, every time. Sorry. I'm not like that. It's literally, you know what, I'll just keep it rolling. I don't care. Probably no one will even watch it. Maybe you will, maybe you won't. But this is so government lane is what it should be called. Like the federal courthouse is there, even though the prison's underneath SeaTac Airport. But the holding cells because my ex, who was a Navy SEAL, was also... he also did spend some time in the federal penitentiary after that, because, like I said, they'd hire him for personal security, and he liked to fight. So, well, whatever. But he'd get himself into trouble. Well, he got himself in big trouble one time. So he did some time there. I can tell you right firsthand, having met his probation or parole officer, federal parole people, just sitting in their office was just bizarre to me. And it's only about 3 blocks down the street, and the courthouse is right there. It's crazy. But anyway, I'm gonna let this roll for a minute. Sorry about the hacky filming, but it clearly states you can't park here. And I don't want to poke the bear. I've had some colorful conversations with some of the feds that live down here, because they used to come to the marina and hang out with their buddies. A lot of them are high brass people. They just hang out. They're just like anyone else. That's just their group. They speak the language, so they hang out. You know, it's either that or they're fucking straight pedophiles in there. I mean, there's more pedophiles in marinas than anywhere else. Blew my mind, because that's what I used to have to work with. But anyway, I cannot. Don't hit me. I'm out in my old marina. I'm gonna start filming. Oh yeah. Oh, this is weird. I have not driven through here for years. This is my old slip right here. The door for it's down here. You have to go through these locked gates, but that was my slip right where there's a red one there and a blue one, silver mast and silver mast. That's where my slip was. And when I was talking about walking, when people walk, or when you use the shower at the marina, this is, I'm gonna flip it around. Oh shit, you can't drive through here anymore. Okay, well, anyway, right here is the, crap, I don't know how to get in there. Hold on, they just changed everything. Now everything's one way. I haven't been here for a long time. But I want this documented so you can see what I mean. But this is cleaned up, man. They even painted it. This looks great. It was really run down, and no one could understand it, because there's not generally, and I'm not trying to be, I'm not a, Jack, please stop. I'm not trying to be a jerk, but I mean, there's not really very many poor people at a marina. You're just not. I'm sorry, we're just not that poor. I'm not saying we're all loaded and richy rich, but generally, these are people's hobbies. I just happened to be so involved in my hobby, I wanted to live on it, so I did, and it was cheap living. I could live here for $480 a month. It was beautiful, and I worked in Seattle, which is just right on the freeway right there. You jump there and you're there in 15 minutes, so it's cool. I used to have a storage here, but in fact, this is very relevant. My storage was the one on the far left down there. My boyfriend's at the time was on the far right. In this corridor, at night, when it's foggy here, you can whisper, and I'm telling you, it's like somebody just put up an ear tube, and you can absolutely hear everything. You can almost hear their thoughts. No, you can hear a pin drop. Hi. You could hear a pin drop through here, and anyway, so up here, I don't know if I can drive through. Well, this building that these motorcycles are parked in front of, and this motor home looking truck thing, right there, those are the shower, that's the shower buildings. And kind of down by where that golf cart's at, that's at the office side. They've cleaned it up. This is new. This was an old rickety dock that was wood and holes in it and like dangerous. You didn't want to bring your kids here, which was fine because we didn't want them around at the time, you know. These are what the lockers look like. You can see that they're like a normal garage. Mine was pretty similar, and I had a bunch of my. I don't know how to get out here. I gotta turn around. Anyway, as you can see up here, that's called Fireman's Park up there. It's got a clear view down to the marina here, which I know for a fact quite a few high-ranking brassers, doodly-doos, would come and hang out with my lettered neighbors, and these guys loved scotch. And when they get 3 or 4 of them in them and they start talking out on their sailboat, or one of them has a storage or whatever. And these, I'm talking people who live here who are dirty, who everyone knew. But now, after hearing the information I got from Mr. Webb, it just kind of tied even more, he laced even more of the puzzle together for me personally. Because there was some shit I stopped thinking about it, but it's always bothered me because they have deadly material. Oops, that absolutely is dangerous, and it's not okay because they're throwing it around like it's a cupcake. It's not a cupcake. It's a little more yellow, and then everything that goes along with that, and it's all dirty, so none of it's good. But anyway, this is where the industrial part of the Tacoma, Washington waterfront is, and within this area, just right here, from the red building down there to here, I can tell you, there's been enough just that I heard, and I don't pay attention that much anymore at all, or then. I heard enough to scare the crap out of me, like it scared me straight. So you're on to something, Mr. Webb. Stay safe, and it's kind of becoming even more surreal because the worse they get exposed, I just don't know. Everybody stay safe, pH balance your blood, try to stay positive and keep love in your heart, but don't be stupid anymore, people. Wake up. Recognize you're being, come on now. We just need what's right, and this isn't right. No one has to be drastic. We can just chill out and detox the planet of some really bad stuff. There's another little park that's extremely accessible, and I've actually loaded and unloaded people from my skiff to here, just for convenience, not for any shadiness, just conveniently put. But as you can see, there's free parking down here, and a lot of people have conversations down here, like boyfriend, girlfriends, husband, wives. You're gonna go talk, you go down to the park, you sit in a car, you have a private conversation. And again, this is fully accessible to all the ports out right here in the port of Tacoma. And where you see those big loaders down there, that is tote. And they have their own natural gas, which is another tie-in to this area. And that's Simpson paper plant right there. So anyhow, okay, well, have a nice day. I'm gonna go walk my very boisterous dog.